Welcome back, y'all, to my channel. Today I am going to be doing just a quick day-to-day makeup look. This is kind of what I do on a daily basis. So if you haven't already, like and subscribe below. Very excited to be on this journey, but today, like I mentioned, we're just gonna do some makeup. So without further ado.
I know you're somewhere. I'm trapped in my mind, girl, just holding on.
Back. And we're back. First and foremost, I want to talk about a step that I will not be showing you today. Rather, I do it right when I get out of the shower. But here is the Pore Refining Toner that I use from Neutrogena. It's supposed to visibly reduce the appearance of pores and refine your skin. So if you're like me and you can see every pore on your body, Neutrogena's Pore Refining Toner has really helped. So I like to pair that with the oil-free moisturizer for combination skin, as you see here. So I do the combination skin because sometimes my skin's really oily, and then other days my skin's super dry. It's usually good with sensitive skin as well, which is what I usually have. But all you're gonna do with this first and foremost is do a like half to a 3/4 squirt onto one finger. It should be pretty small. And what I actually do with this is I combine it with my liquid foundation. So if you are not a liquid foundation wearer, I totally understand. I want to say it wasn't until about the last 2 or 3 years that I started using it. I was a huge powder fan. I thought that liquid foundation was going to just make me more oily. And then just educating myself and picking the brains of all my friends has really introduced me to the liquid foundation world. And one that I found that's really worked for me is the Mary Kay. It's the Time Wise. So the Time Wise is actually something that's supposed to help reduce wrinkles over time and make sure that your skin is staying healthy and young and vibrant. Once you get it screwed off there, it comes out rather quickly if you see this hole right here. But all I do is like a little, not even a dime, I would say, but I mix it with that moisturizer, that oil-free moisturizer, so that it can evenly spread on my face. So I use my middle finger because, as we all know, your face sees a lot of the elements. It probably ages rather quickly compared to a lot of the other parts of our bodies. So once I have that dab of liquid foundation mixed with the Neutrogena moisturizer, that again is for combo skin, I massage that through that in my ring fingers of each hand. So I kind of look like a little alien or something. And it should look something like this. And then at that point, I like to go tribal and I wipe here, nose, chin, and I just spread. Make sure you get that hairline. And don't tug too tight. But from there, voila, you have foundation, okay? Another thing to note that I've also learned in recent years is that whatever you do to your face, you should probably be doing to your neck and or chest. As women, especially, we do introduce the elements to those parts of our body as well. So if you're putting any moisturizers on your face, and you're ever seeing like a line, so to speak, make sure you're putting moisturizer on your neck as well. Love the skin you're in, am I right? Love the skin. So the next thing that I have is the Perfect Shadow Sense, and I use the Candlelight for kind of a primer under my eyes and to lighten up any bags that you may see. So love to support my friends. A friend of mine was selling this online, had really great things to say, and I tried it and I've never looked back. So it has this little wand applicator for you. And if you just do some dots here, boop, 5 on each. And then I do a swipe on the lid, but that's because I use, as you can see, like remnants of my mascara. I don't use a really strong chemically makeup remover because, again, I want to be really good to my skin. So I put the whites up here as well to just blend over any makeup from the day before, or again, just lighten up those eyes. The more you can lighten it up, the easier it is overall. Next, I have an applicator. I use the rubber or kind of plasticky ones. I used to use a blender ball, but the more research I did, the more kind of bacteria and like infectious things can stay in the blender ball. So once you have that, all you need to do is wet it just a tad and you start dabbing your eye. Again, try not to pull too tight, especially this sensitive skin right around your eye. You want to make sure that it stays young for as long as possible. So once you dab it around your eye, you can fill in if you have any like color discoloration over here, excuse me. You want to make sure you cover any of that, which I do. And then again, just being really nice to that skin. I'm telling you the names of my products as well, just so you're aware and so I can be as informative as possible, pardon me. But if you do not have these products, you can achieve the same effect with drugstore makeup. And in reality, without my talking, this takes me less than 5 minutes a day. So it's a really simple process, and I really appreciate that because I don't always have the time to go the whole 9 yards. So the next thing that we have is this Morphe Bacon Set Setting Powder, the translucent kind. I'll show you there. Just because, again, I do have some oily skin. Now, the products I've used have helped with that oily, but it doesn't really ever go away. So I use the powder, and I actually only use the lid. If you can see, the Morphe is a loose powder here. But I always shake it up to the lid because this is all you need to apply. This is $12 at Ulta or Sephora, and it's lasted me, I want to say, probably like 5 and 6 months. But that's because I'm using the lid. So use the lid. So I just dab my makeup brush on it here. Again, I have a drugstore makeup brush, nothing too special. And all I do is dab. So I dab my whole face just to kind of mat it down. So dabbing, not swiping. The more you dab, the less product you'll use. And ultimately, again, if you want to use a kind of like a powdery bronzer or highlight or anything before this translucent setting spray, you can. But all I'm setting is my liquid foundation. So I don't have much more to set. Go over those eyes just a bit, seeing as though I lightened them up. And then once you clean out that lid, you are all good with the setting. But what I do now is I prime my eyelashes with just this Glam & Doll Volumizing Triple Boost Eyelash Primer. Again, you do not have to use this primer, but any primer works. Mine's a little mudded up, but it's normally a white brush. And all you do is stroke through those lashes 3 and 4 times each. And I don't even reapply. You don't really need a lot. What it does is it just takes care of the growth. It has some argan oil in there. It takes care of those lashes. Because ladies, we're pretty hard on our lashes. So if you want to do the bottom ones because you use some mascara down there, feel free to do so. And then all I'm going to do after I put on that primer is let it sit. So done with the primer. One of the last things I'm going to do to my face now is use my blush. If you know me, I use blush every day, and if you don't know me, welcome to my world. So blush is a must-have for Abbey Roads. And I use the MAC Lovejoy version because it's a really dark, almost like a bronzer included. So it's one step into. Instead of contouring my face, spending the time to blend and blend and blend some more, I just use, again, a drugstore brush, pink for blush, for that Lovejoy MAC blush set for you. I do some of this. And then all I do, and I'm going to have to make a funny face, but all I do is follow my cheek line up to my hairline. So, and I do circles. I found that it's more of a harsh line if I go back and forth. So why I start out that way, that's one thing, but ultimately I end up in circles. So same thing, switch hands. And again, going back to those circles. And you just see kind of like a vague line on each of my sides. Ooh, my right, blend. Just a vague pink line, kind of, again, with that bronzer. I'll get real close. You can even see my pores. Toner. But I'll get really close because that bronzer there. And then as I mentioned, if you want to do some more like to frame the face as you would like with contouring, I do. But just with the remnants. I don't re-add. So then from there, as you can see, the face makeup of it all has been complete. So at that point, your mascara primer, should be dry. If it's not dry, just do a quick check, which is what I was doing then. And then from there, I add the last of my eyeballs and then my eyebrows. So the last of my eyeballs, I use this Milk Kush volumizing mascara. It looks really, really intimidating, but it's really, really good, and it's worked great for me since I've had it. So grab that out, dab it off at the top because I always seem to hit myself. And again, not using a ton. This is that everyday look. So not going too dramatic here. Oh, I knew it would happen. See? That Kush mascara, man. Right on, right off until it gets dry. And then any under here. Yeah, and last but not least, I put on my Anastasia Brow-Wiz, which is just like a brow liner. One side has the brush that smooths the brows out, and the other side is the applicator tip. So if you are someone who does daily brows, you should definitely try this, this tool. It's just a 2-in-1. It works really well, and that way I'm not cluttering up my makeup bag or the setup that I have on my vanity. It's just really good at filling in those gaps. So my gaps fall over here. And if you'll notice, I go really, really light to fill the holes. Never truly applying too much force. Erase anything that I put on there unknowingly or by accident. And then when you're done, just make sure you put the tip back in. Make sure you roll the tip down to put it back in so you don't smush it, and then you should be good to go. So, finished product from where I started to where I am now. It's very natural. I go for a very natural look, but that's kind of my day-to-day makeup look. So in the interim, I would love to speak with you, and then until then, please be on the lookout for my next video release. If you like and subscribe, as I mentioned before, I look forward to seeing you then.